Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy, and today I thought we'd do just a simple little video. Pull it back a little bit, don't overcomplicate it, as I normally love to do, but I thought I would just talk about some plants in my collection that I'm absolutely loving lately. So some of you have followed along my journey this year essentially on kind of falling out of love with my collection. I included a 4-part series on how I prepare my houseplants for spring, everything that I do to prepare them, and that has helped me to fall in love with my plants again. And I want to talk about some that I'm really loving right now. They're doing pretty good, they look good. I'm excited for the summer burst of growing season. I'm really excited for that. And yeah, I just thought I would, classic, just talk about some plants, None of these are particularly rare. As a lot of you know, I'm not really into the whole big rare plant thing. So a lot of these are quite common, but I think they're freaking beautiful, so I don't really care. This first plant is pretty common. However, it's relatively new for me. I actually only picked it up maybe like 4 months ago or something like that. It was over winter. And I was always a little bit afraid to care for these, but it's going pretty well, I think. And this is the classic staghorn fern. I know a lot of people mount these. That would be beautiful if I had the time, but I do not. So it is in a normal pot. I really didn't know what to expect with this plant. On care wise, I didn't really research anything, but I just kind of went with my instinct. And it's been a little bit up and down, but I think that it's had like when you get a new plant and you might have to repot it for whatever reason and it kind of goes a bit dormant, maybe you see some dying leaves, whatever it is, and then one day it just turns around and it's like, I'm going to grow for you. I'm going to grow real hard. I'm going to have loads of new growth and it's going to be beautiful. This is what this plant is doing for me, and that's obviously why it's at the top of my list. So I know, what's the scientific name for this? It is Platycerum bifurcatum. And there's loads of videos about this plant online. It is a fern in the polypod family. I'm just reading this. There also can be called elkhorn ferns due to the shape of their fronds, which obviously kind of look like stag or elk horns, I guess. So I know with this plant, it has kind of a middle shield type section. That is very important. I think it was on a Bessie Begonia video maybe ages ago that I saw, or maybe it was her, I'm not sure, but I saw somebody talk about that section of the plant dying being really bad for it. And that's essentially like the innermost section of the plant dying off. So when these started to brown, I was like, oh no, it's happening. But actually, it's just created a whole freaking brand new big one, which is absolutely huge and really beautiful. Maybe if I put my head out, you can really see the plant. I will include some B-roll. So I have that, and I also have this section in here. And what's interesting about this is I have it on the windowsill, so it's getting prime highlight situation. And this shield is growing on the side of the window. So I wonder, is it a protection thing for the middle part of the fern in terms of either light or whatever else? But it's grown this shield now to kind of shield itself from the window. So I'm interested about that. I don't know anything about it. Could be worth looking up, but I'm just loving how this looks. I really like the light colored pot. I think it's beautiful. It's kind of furry. But essentially I just leave it alone. When it dries out, I water it. That's all I've been doing. It's nothing else to it really. Highlight, water when dry. That's how I've been caring for it. We'll see how it goes over the next couple of months. But I think, because the leaves are so thick and hardy, that was telling me I'm not going to die if I dry out. That's how I got to that conclusion. But yeah, so that's the first one. The second plant, also beside that one, is this begonia. I'm gonna have to go back. Begonia Linda Dawn. I got this as a tiny little cutting from a plant friend in Ireland a long time ago. It was definitely in 2021, and it has just grown, and like, look how freaking beautiful these leaves are. They are a deep red. They're a little bit hairy. They have kind of spikes on them. Really gorgeous. Care super easy. Never had any problems. Propagates really easy. It's just an easy little beautiful begonia, and it's becoming kind of a tree, and I'm here for it. I did repot it within the last 6 months, and it has kind of shot up with that, but I do think I need a much better support system. We have kind of, this branch is going to get too long soon, and this needs a bit more support than it has. But I'm loving the way it looks. Tiny little pot, but it's so cute. And that is also on the window beside the staghorn fern. So this window is doing pretty good. It's pushing out a lot of new growth. This next one I'm not going to take off the wall because I think it just looks so pretty on the wall, so I'm just going to talk over some B-roll. And this is my Syngonium variegata. Is there a better species name for that? Let me check. Oh, it's Syngonium podophyllum albo variegata. So this plant I got from plnts.com, you know, that plant EU website. And you know what? Syngoniums have never done well for me in soil. I don't know what it is. I've just always killed them. I've never really done well with the watering schedule or been able to figure it out. Leaves always just die pretty regularly. And this is honestly the first one that's done pretty okay for me. Which I was quite surprised about because I assumed that the variegata would be much more difficult. Now it does have some yellow variegation, it has mottled, it has kind of sectoral, it has kind of minty stuff going on. The leaf structure on some of these variegated leaves is just so freaking beautiful. It's definitely a couple of different cuttings in the one pot, which is generally what you get. But one of them is straight up green, so it's not variegata, which is fine with me. And it's kind of growing over the picture frame. I see it very often because it's right beside my computer monitor, but I think it's just so gorgeous. And I'm really hoping that this takes off. It is a fast grower, but I've definitely seen some kind of deformed leaves coming out every now and again. But I don't see any pests, so I'm not fully sure why that is, but it's beautiful and I'm loving it right now. The next plant that I have been loving, you would have actually seen in my rearranging my houseplant collection video, because this plant used to be quite the tree in the corner over there, and it had grown really tall. It looked really shitty. It had like no lower leaves. And this is my Strobilanthes diurnaeus, I think. I can't remember how that second word is spelled, but these will all be on the screen. So essentially I cut all of that back because it looked really crappy, and I also moved it under my lower Spider Farmer grow light, which, you know, is a really strong light. And I just thought, you know, the leaves seem to die off too quickly and they just don't look good. And so let me cut it back to the base and let me see how it does. And guys, this plant was screaming for more light, because look at her now. Look how dark and how beautiful these leaves are. Oh my God, and they are like super deep. We have loads of growth at the bottom of the pot here, and like I cut this back. I just chopped it. It had no leaves, and now look, only in a matter of weeks. So and also actually, there are all these tiny little leaves growing. These are all leaves. So it's going to really bush out. It is so beautiful, and I just had a moment, you know, where I was like, this plant has been wanting way higher light for so long, and it was just struggling, and that's all I needed to give it. It also does not do very well with being super dry for very long, but that's fine. I mean, I've put it in a plastic pot, and also I up-potted it quite a bit when I last repotted it. And now it's doing really well. Oh, I got it on the 11th of June 2021 from Casa Botanica. I really enjoy when I actually remember to write down when I got plants and from where. But yeah, absolutely loving this one and really excited to see what it does this summer. I think this is called Persian Shield or Purple Shield or something like that. I think the common name is, but really, really beautiful one. Yeah. And like I said, it used to look like a tree. So if it keeps this coloration and becomes a tree, it might be one of my favorites. This next plant, I actually don't remember what it is, which is so annoying. It's a begonia, some type of begonia. It looks like Immaculata, but I know that it's not because the person that gave it to me gave me the name of the plant. It was like the tiniest cutting, and it has been pretty much struggling along since 2021. Was it 2021? It must have been, yeah. And I had it in water for like a year and it was like dying. And I put it in a pot and then it was like doing okay. And then I actually moved it into a much higher light situation under my SF1000 and it has just burst into life. And I think it's really cute and it's really pretty. So it may actually have a bit of bleaching going on. So maybe it's a bit too much light. But look at this. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna get out of the way here so you can see. Look how cute. If anybody knows what this is, it's really shiny. Like it's kind of like a type of Immaculata, if you know what I mean. But it's not. Anyway, I guess we won't know unless it flowers, but it's just been really pushing out loads of new growth, really healthy looking. And I've just been loving this plant, been loving looking by it every day and seeing how it's getting on. It's really cute. Look at some of the smaller leaves. But yeah, enjoying this one at the moment. Okay, we've got two more on the list right now. The next one's a Hoya. And you know what, guys? I definitely want to get back into my Hoya loving situation this year because Hoyas are just so amazing. They always do really well for me. Now, I've never had any complicated ones, but this particular Hoya, if some of you have followed me for quite a while, you might recognize this plant from older videos. It is Hoya rotundiflora. It has never flowered for me, but I have high hopes for this summer, or this year even. But it just wasn't growing for me for so long, and I do find that Hoyas do that sometimes. They have maybe a bit more of an adjustment period or a bit longer of an adjustment period to other plants, but once they get going, they get going. And this one has gotten going. So look how cute. What's so interesting about this one is the shape of the leaves. It is just the coolest. It's like if a child drew a cartoon square-leaved plant, it's Hoya rotundiflora. And it's so cool, and it's kind of growing out of control right now. I am checking for peduncles, but I don't see any just yet, but I assure you this plant is ready to flower, I can tell. The new leaves come out really fluffy and hairy. I don't even know if you can see that. This one right here, it's really cute. Still in a tiny pot, but it's loving life. And I just think it's so pretty. It is just one of those gorgeous plants. Now I will stick up a picture of what the flowers of this look like so you can see, but please flower for me, because they're so beautiful. I just really hope it flowers. So yeah, high on the list. They're not in order, but you know, it's on the list. So the next plant is this one here. Oh, cool. Really big, really wide. This is my Philodendron Beatiae atabapuense hybrid. I wanted a Beatier, too freaking expensive for me, so I got this, but it's so freaking cool. So it kind of has the best of both worlds. It does have kind of the orangey petiole, but it also has the red backs of the adwanamy, and it's so cool. It needs a stake, but I think it just looks amazing. It's such a statement plant. It was in my pest cleaning video. I've just cleaned the leaves of these. They're really shiny and cute, and I'm just loving seeing it sitting here and just growing, living its best life. It's really, really cool plant. It has just the most beautifully shaped leaves. Look at the lobes, the lovely midrib. It's shiny, it's beautiful, really easy to care for. Seems to be happy, is starting to put out some aerial roots, which are dying to grab onto something. But I'll give you something soon, don't you worry. Stretching it a little bit, but that's all right. But yeah, I'm really, this is one that I've been loving as well. Really, really beautiful, and I love how it looks. So I'm going to put that back where it was. I'm really happy with the new spot for it as well, because I think it looks really cool. It's definitely turning towards the light though, but that's okay. So that is kind of, well, like, I'm loving a lot more than that, but that's enough for this video. Really enjoying how these plants are doing, and I'm really excited to see how they continue to grow over the next couple of months. I will update you on any specific ones if you're interested, but these are kind of my favorites for April 2023. If you enjoy favorites videos like regularly, do let me know, because I could talk about my favorite plants all freaking day. I really would. But sometimes I wonder if it's going to get boring for people, and I'm not really sure. So if you have a strong opinion on that, you can let me know in the comments. If not, I hope that you enjoyed the video anyway, and I will see you in the next one very soon. Bye.